And welcome to Grumpy Old Men. I'm Tim and I don't wear glasses.
I'm Steve and I do, and they're constantly filthy. Since I was 4 years old, every day these things ride on the front of my skull, and every day they're filthy.
Anyway, here we are, and we're again at we've been here before, so this is sort of like deja vu.
All over again, yes it is. It's an interesting place. I'm glad we came back. The food's decent and the building is just amazing.
Yeah, it's built almost entirely out of timber, and they've spent, I think, pretty much a small fortune.
$1 bajillion, easy.
It's two-story. It's, as I said, pretty much built out of timber. Apparently, well, we know they've bought a table from the Thai Mueang.
Right across the street from my house.
From the fair. And it's about, I would say, 8 meters long and about that thick.
Yeah.
And it came out of, one tree?
One tree, that's what he said. It was a single piece of wood cut out of a single tree. And it came with 2 long benches. The thing's as long as a railway car. I don't know what a meter is, but it's as long as a railway car.
It's a bit more than a yard.
He said it was marked at 300,000 baht, but he waited till the last day and got it for 150,000 baht.
And you did the same. You bought your bed on the last day.
Previous festival, but yes,
Yes.
also on the last day, and I got a deal. I'm not happy with the bed, but I got a deal. The name of this place, by the way, is the Sea Light, L-I-G-H-T.
Not the sea lice.
No, the Sea Light, and it is right next door to Wat Tha Sai, which is the temple on the beach here in Thai Mueang district.
Right, there you go. Thought you were going to go on for longer. We do have to thank Neil from Scotland, more specifically from Edinburgh. Thank you very much, Neil. He dropped in and said hello to me after my live program. Did you watch?
Yes, I watched it.
Wasn't it good?
When I got home, I was
great?
riding. I rode past you as you were doing your live stream.
I thought you were going to cycle back and join me, but
no, I'm all
God
sweaty and sandy. I've just come off the beach. I'm all sweaty and sandy.
You still
but
are.
Neil, I had one of these before lunch, and they're really very good. They're chocolate chip.
Very chocolatey.
You take that bad boy and you dip it in a hot latte, and here they do a fairly good hot latte. It's almost hot.
No. It's not dip. It's dunk.
Dunk. Okay.
You dunk. Dunked? Dunk.
To have Dunkin'.
Yeah. Now, it also surprised me that you have never, I'm shocked, you've never dipped a Tim Tam into a hot cup of tea.
Nor dumped one. I don't know what a Tim Tam is, but I'm from America. We have crappy schools.
What you do is you bite the end off a Tim Tam, which is a chocolate biscuit with layers of chocolate. Oh, just thinking about it. And then you dip it into the tea, and the magic is you have to eat it before it falls off.
Apart.
As described by Judi Dench in the movie, what was the one she did in India? The best exotic marigold hotel. She explains dunking very well.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I don't know a Tim Tam or a Steve's Tam.
So you can get that biscuit and you can dunk it into your coffee.
I did earlier. I won't do it now. If I do it now, I will be wearing biscuit or cookie for our American and Canadian viewers.
This shirt I've had for about 20 years.
And what is with this shirt?
This is my, I call this my wedding dress. The reason
Why?
Well, because, there are some women who keep their wedding dress and they keep trying it on once a year to make sure they haven't put on any weight.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is my wedding dress. So I just keep on putting this on to make sure I haven't. It's a little bit tighter than it used to be.
Well, I don't know why I make an effort. I look for a shirt and everything.
But this is DKNY. It cost me a fortune.
I think well then.
It was 100 baht in Chatterjack Market, I think. But it's still going strong some 20 years later.
Oh, sure. There you go. All right. I will allow it this time.
So we're coming to you from Sea Light, and we've just we had same thing. We had Hokkien noodles with chicken.
Yeah, that's
That was
pretty
okay.
good. Yeah. I don't have anything caught my teeth, do I? Yeah. In the comment section, let me know.
If you had, I wouldn't have told you anyway. It's much more fun.
Yeah.
So we are going to have a talk today. Now this is time for you to get your notes out. We're going to have a talk about movies that have been made from books, because there have been some very good examples of fabulous best-selling books turned into movies, and there's also been some crappy books that have been turned into better movies, and some really amazing books that have been ruined by putting them onto 35mm film. So I thought, you as a writer of note, a published writer, may have something to, because you've had one of your books immortalised, maybe not the right word, in pictorial version.
Well, not one of my books, but because I don't write long form, I write essays and short fiction.
Because you get bored after half an hour.
Yeah, basically. No, I grew up in the magazines, and 1,000 words was your limit. So I tend to stop automatically at 1,000 words. But I have dramatized some of my short stories in the Boonzongs playlist on my own channel.
Which is Steve, Steve Rosse with an E.
We just stayed. Yeah,
and does have his own channel. And
JD Strange on Strange TV, he dramatized one of my short stories, and Roy Bott produced one of my short stories as a short film. So I'm just friends.
Do you have any parts for a sort of a good-looking bald guy from Australia?
Why, you know one? Thank you.
You think
he
you're
just
so
lobs
funny.
it up there, and I hit it out of the park. Undoubtedly, I do. I wrote about the bars 30 years ago. I was writing about the bars in Phuket. Undoubtedly, there's a lot of bald Australians in my story, without doubt. I cannot think of one right now off the top of my head. But I would also add to your list, there have been great movies made from crappy books. The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco is an unreadable book. Find me anybody who's ever completed The Name of the Rose. But Sean Connery in the movie, and is it Kevin Bacon? Who's the young man? Christian Bale? No, I think it's Kevin Bacon. Anyway, those two, just a magnificent, magnificent movie about monks in the Middle Ages.
Siri, who were the stars of Name of the Rose?
The Name of the Rose, which, by the way, Umberto Eco has never revealed why he named it that. There's no roses in the book. There's no names. You know, the Name of the Rose has absolutely nothing to do with the story. So as a book, it's very unsatisfactory, but it was made into a glorious movie. So that's just another, it can go either way.
Well, no, we were going to talk about this a bit later, by the way. I was just giving a bit of a preview to our viewer.
Oh.
By the way, just an early edition of Steve Got It Wrong. Sean Connery, indeed, and Christian
Slater, not Christian Bale. Christian Slater, yeah.
So there you go. But we've got a few other things to talk about. By the way, thanks for asking, Steve. But
how's your hand?
I'm going to retain the use of my hand. They decided they're not going to chop it off.
Well, let me talk to them. I might be able to change their minds. Yeah, well, God forbid the world lose another concert pianist. Listen, man, I think, as an object lesson, getting between two fighting cats, that's a big no-no.
But the thing is, everybody has been offering their advice. Oh, this is what you do when there's cats fighting. You get the hose out. I mean, in my house.
Yeah.
You get a wet towel. Oh, excuse me, cats, can you just hold a moment?
Yeah.
I've just got to go and put a towel in the bath. Just hold it there. Now, back to what you were doing.
Are you?
This is while you're clearing your throat.
I'm sorry. Yeah, too many cigarettes.
We're both in the wars at the moment. And then the other one, what's another one? Oh, you spray them with the
spritz bottle.
Yeah. So I thought, hang on, I've just got to go to the kitchen.
Yeah.
This is like...
Fellas, can we call a halt for just a moment?
Just 1 minute.
Are you sure it's your cat that bit you and not the stray cat?
I'm pretty sure it was my cat, because this white cat, we're talking about a pure black and a pure white cat.
Wow.
This white cat I've never seen before. But it was 1 a.m. in the morning, and I was woken up by this... you know, the screaming of cats, and I thought, oh my God, cats got in the house, because we're not sort of fully enclosed
No.
at the moment.
Very open plan.
Which is the way that, you know, you can
it's
do it
lovely.
here.
It's great. It's neat.
So I burst out of the bedroom door, and Dusty, what's going on? Because I knew it was Dusty, and Dusty didn't like this white cat in the house. So I knew Dusty was attacking the cat. So I wasn't so worried about Dusty attacking the cat. I mean, obviously I don't want any pet or animal to get hurt, but I was worried about my cat.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of located the noise, and I could see this black and white shape. And again, I didn't have time to go and wet the towel or anything. So I was sort of half asleep, and I just reached down and grabbed Dusty. No, I think I must have grabbed the white cat, because Dusty went thinking I was the white cat, and sunk 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth deep down into my hand.
Oof. Yeah.
So painful.
You know, I have to think, this has never occurred before, right?
Can we wind up the sympathy?
Uh,
I'm not going to turn. I'm not going to be pressing the duck. Go on, off you go. Sympathy.
Oh, dude, I feel so bad for you. I'm close to tears. Why do bad things happen to good people? I don't know. You know, as a metaphor, in the middle of the night, this is a one-off occurrence. Never happened before, right? You've never had a stray cat come in and fight Dusty in your house before.
No.
Yeah. So it's unusual, and one is pure white, one is pure black. Good and evil, up and down, male and female, right and wrong. It's a mandala. These two cats fighting is a mandala.
I'm just going to turn the volume down a bit, because you're over-modulating a bit in your enthusiasm.
Yeah. Are we surprised?
About my...
Steve's being loud. Are we surprised?
Well, of course, that's the first thing I thought when I saw the black and white creatures. I thought, Star Wars. Luke Skywalker in white, Darth Vader in black. That's the first thing I thought about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Neat. I like that. I would not have thought of that. That's neat. Yeah.
Or Zorro
or any
black,
cowboys. Any cowboys at the OK Corral, the white hat and the black hat.
Yeah. Okay, we'll sort of milk that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm fine. I've been taking my... I'll tell you about the visit to the doctor.
Okay, sure.
Because we are very lucky in Thai Mueang to have a little public hospital. Mm-hmm. And I think for just basic things, I mean, if you're going to lose a leg or you're having a heart attack, probably not going to go there. But if you go there, they'll organise somebody to take you to a bigger hospital. But we are very lucky to have our own hospital. So I go there, and to go through the passport, and everything is in Thai. It's a Thai public hospital. Duh.
Yeah.
So on the announcement system, they've got all the cues on the board, who's next and stuff. And then I hear Australia. I went, that must be me. And my name, the automated machine couldn't say my name. Sort of mashed. I sound a bit more like Timothée Chalamet rather than Tim Newton.
Tim. Yeah.
So Australia. And everybody turns around. There's an Australian in here. And
which one is he? I'll bet he's that one.
Yeah. So I do, of course, before you do anything in Thailand, they will take your blood pressure. Mm-hmm. So a hand goes in, blood pressure comes at 120/66. Impressive.
Yes.
So everybody crowds around. Ooh. Australians have got low blood pressure.
For a man who's just been bitten by a cat, he's perfectly calm.
Well, I was probably on my way to my expiration. But I went in to see the doctor, and we know how Thais take their doctors very seriously. Mm-hmm. The Swiss guy putting his foot in the back of the young Thai doctor.
A female doctor, yeah.
And the doctors do tend to encourage people to feel that way about them.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because I had the temerity to ask a question of the doctor, and I got this sort of look of shock. Why are you asking a question? It was all over, how many rabies injections I'd had, when I had them, and between Google Translate and she was about, I don't know, early 20s. I think she'd be sort of fresh off the boat regarding her visit to the I don't know, the hospitals and the rounds and things. But oh, she was a perfectly good doctor.
Yeah.
But Nurse
Yeah.
Ratchet was there with her.
Yeah.
Nurse Ratchet, as soon as the word rabies vaccine was mentioned, she was into the cupboard to get the biggest, fattest needle she could
Sure.
find. She was ready to stab me with that thing.
You were a highlight of her career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This
She
was
was-
going to be the entertainment for a Friday night.
Yeah, she drove 60 miles that night after work to tell her mom about the phalang. She got to stick a needle
Oh
in.
yeah. I got stick this dirty, great big needle.
Yeah.
And I licked it first. So
Oh,
Nurse.
surely you exaggerate.
Oh no, of course not. Anyway, here I am, and I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Hey, how are you? I'm glad you're fine. I'm glad you're fine.
The swelling is going
And-
down.
Yeah, and we all, we all have, we plan our retirements in Thailand. We read books, some of us, or we watch YouTube videos, some of us. And we try to learn the ropes. We try to be able to expect everything we're going to encounter, but no, life is life. And shit's going to come down the pike at you that you're not ready for, and you have to react in the moment.
Well,
and hopefully, and you seem to have reacted very well, and hopefully that's how we get through it.
In 65 years, never been bitten by any animal, but in 4 or 5 months, I've been bitten by a dog, bitten by a cat. Mm-hmm. My own cat. And of course, my very caring and feeling friends sent notes like, I hope Dusty's okay. Make sure he gets a rabies shot.
The cat's got Australian germs now. Have to put him down. There's no cure for that.
Dusty's fine.
Now he meows like this. Meow, mate.
And Dusty seems to have got he's back to a 5-year-old. He's got strength and vigor like I never knew he'd had. His hair's starting to fall out, which is a bit odd. But anyway.
And he's taking a big interest in yachting. Well, who can go figure? I don't know where that came from.
Cat yachting, now that would be funny. You've got some things to talk about in your notes. We're going to get to the books turned into movies and some good examples and some bad examples and what we think is appropriate when turning a book into a movie, because there's been a bit of talk about that on the interweb Yahoo thing.
The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea. Cats have always been interested in yachting. All right, I've got a few. Steve got it wrong. It's a recurring segment on this show because Steve talks a lot. Steve gets shit wrong.
This will keep us going for the next half hour.
There's just 3. I had said we had a discussion. Well, I don't remember in Ray what we were talking about something, and I said seeing Freddie Mercury sing at Live Aid, sing "Who Wants to Live Forever" when he knew he was dying was very moving to me. And many people wrote in and said, no, the movie you saw, Steve, took liberties with Freddie Mercury's life. This was Live Aid, or it was the Wembley concert, was 5 years before he was diagnosed. So he didn't know. It just made a better movie scene. So here, the writers have taken liberty, and it did make it a better movie experience, but it led to Steve embarrassing himself because he was quoting what he had seen on the movie, the biopic, rather than a fact.
Well, so that's interesting, isn't it? Because basically a human who hadn't been dead that long, they've actually rearranged situations in his life for dramatic purpose, but should they be allowed to do that? Because they're telling fibs.
Well, we will get to that.
We will get
to that. Once she stops, shall we complain about the noise?
Oh yes, we should.
They expect it of us. Why is it so noisy in here? Why can't they close this restaurant when we come in to shoot? Don't they know who we are?
They dusted off the Vitamizer just because we can't. Oh, quick! Here's Tim and
They
Steve.
put ball bearings in it. Yeah, specifically for our show.
Yes.
We're well known.
Oh yes. Who are
All
you?
right. So, the word I was looking for, the 3-wheel, the motorcycle with the sidecar that I bought for Chamlan. I bought him the sidecar, not the motorcycle.
Samlo.
Samlaw, 3 wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people wrote in, a lot of people didn't understand and wrote in, Steve, the word you're looking for is tricycle. No, in Thai, guys, I don't need any help with word choice in English, thank you very much.
Sam is 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3, rising tone, like Mueang, Thai Mueang.
Sam.
3, law. The wheel is law.
Yeah.
So,
3 wheels.
not law, but law. So 3 wheels, right. Well, people wrote in to say, well, where I live, we call that a salang. And I had heard the salang.
I've heard of that.
Right, for a pedicab, where the 3rd wheel is in front of a pair of wheels, right? So somebody's pedaling in front and there's that 3rd wheel. So I asked Chamnan, my go-to guy for everything Thai language. And he said, yeah, out here in the boonies, we say Sam Law, but in the city, they say Salang.
Ooh.
Now, he has never been to a city in his life. He has lived here forever.
Going to the big
life.
smoke for Cham Nan is going to Kok Loi for...
Yeah, to Kok Loi,
Yeah.
to get married or to, bury his mother or something. That's the big city. He is very much a country mouse, and I think that's why we get along. We're both very happy to stay in Thai Mueang and never go anywhere. But he told me, yeah, this is what we call it here, and other people call it that someplace else. But thank you for salang. That was the word I was looking for. And I appreciate the viewers who wrote in with that. And a viewer submitted one more red flag. We were doing red flags. You hear something and your spidey sense tingles, and you go, oh, walk away. This is not good. If you go to a massage parlor and they ask for payment up front before you get your massage. Now, I don't remember ever experiencing that, but I would think if I did, I would say, yeah, that's what's going on here.
Sure.
I don't want to pay. I don't pay for a meal before I eat it. I'm not going to pay for that. So thank you to the viewer who sent that in.
I've never heard of that before.
No.
Have you been to the massage, the proper masseur in Thai Mueang?
The one just up.
Opposite the golf course place.
Yes, opposite Aquila.
You been there?
I have been there twice. Yes, and they worked on. I have bursitis. I have said before, I wear button-down shirts because I can't wear a t-shirt. I can't.
It's my chance to be sick today. We don't want to hear about your illnesses today.
So at any rate, yes, I went and asked them to work on my shoulder. They did twice. It felt better, but it was 300 baht each time. And once I felt better, I thought, well, I don't know, go spend 300 baht again. But yeah, I was satisfied with the service there. It was clean, it was polite, and the woman knew what she was doing. And she made my shoulder better. So
I think one thing I notice as I get older, it's slowly creeping up on me, is I do, when I've been in bed for 8 hours or been sitting down for half an hour, like doing my daily program, when you sort of get up, it's sort of stiff and it just have to sort of stand for a couple of moments before I sort of move on. So I'm thinking maybe a Thai massage once a week would be a good way just to
a lot of people swear by it.
Relieve stiffness and stuff.
People who come on 2-week holidays will go every day to some Thai masseur. And the connections that are made in those legit massage parlors are very, very long-standing. There are people who've been coming for 15 years, 10, 15 years, and when they come, they always go back to the same masseur. And those connections become because you're intimate. It's an intimate experience. This person is touching your body almost everywhere.
It's about as good as I get.
You feel way better when they're done. If you can convince them not to hurt you.
Yes, they're about 5'2" and 40 kilograms wringing wet, and they will wind you in knots. Yeah. They are strong.
Oh yeah, they got hands the size of house pets, these women. And yeah, if you don't caution them, they will hurt you. And please remember, you can always say, "Stop! That hurts."
Yes.
And they're used to that. They will adjust.
I have often.
Oh yeah, but once you get a masseur or masseuse who knows you and knows it's like you go to the same noodle place. She knows how many chilies to put in your wit gao, and so it's the same in any massage parlor. You tell them what you want, and you correct them when they go too far, and then every time you come back in, they'll remember you and do it that way. So I think it's great.
If you haven't tried a Thai massage, next time you come, don't walk down Bangalore Road and go massage.
Nothing on Walking Street.
It's going to
No.
be different from what you. If
Oh
you
my
could
God.
find, ask your hotel a legitimate Thai massage, and they might even have a spa in the hotel where they or a little massage parlor, and they are legitimately amazing if
They
you can get the
are.
right massage.
There's a
Masseur.
there's a
Masseuse.
there's a vlogger at the moment who goes by Van Boys, and he's a redneck from Arkansas, and it's like watching a Leonard Skinner concert from 1971. Listen to this guy. I tell you what. But he's in Thailand. He's all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's a young man, I don't know, 20, 21, something like that. And so he's gone to a massage parlor on Walking Street in Pattaya, and he's met this young woman, and he's shucking and jiving with her in front of the camera, and they're okay with him filming in there. And there's this older woman sitting on the other side, and he says, and the woman goes, "Mama," gesturing to the older woman. He goes, "That's your mother? I'm sitting here with a mother and her daughter." And I'm yelling at the monitor, "Dude, the boss in a massage parlor is called Ma. Don't touch the table." Her name is Ma, mother, because she's the mama-san. She's the boss in that place. And she's telling you, call her mama. She's not saying this is my biological mother. She's saying, but if you're excited by that, they'll play along with it. They'll say, yeah, sure, she's my mother. Just like if you go up country with her, that young man she introduces you to as her brother is actually her husband. But here she calls her husband P, elder brother. In Japan, they call their lovers elder brother. I forget what the expression is in Japan, but it's in 100 porn movies. But at any rate, I was just over. I don't know. Never mind. We were on massage.
We were.
But yeah, don't go on Walking Street. Don't get it on Walking Street. If you see a Thai person and they're getting a massage, then by all means go in there. And you can just have a foot massage, right? You can have a shoulder massage, a face massage, a
back
head
massage.
You don't have to go in there for the full Monty. You don't have to go in there and strip down and put a pakama around your waist and lay down and let her work for 90 minutes on every muscle group. You can just go in and say, "My feet hurt today," and get a foot massage for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's,
You'll find very often you just drift off to sleep. They can be very, very convincing. Even though they're quite tough and firm, it's somehow very relaxing.
And it's air conditioned, and sometimes they'll give you tea and some cookies when it's done. What's not to like?
Or Tim Tams. And do you have any more?
I have
things?
one.
Well, one.
And
then we'll get into books and movies.
This is a question for the Brain Trust. It occurred to me this week that we live in
strange times.
There it just went. The beach of Thai Mueang, Thai Mueang, which is in the Tambon of Thai Mueang, which is in the Ampere of Thai Mueang, which is in the province of Changwat, the province of Phang, the Changwat of Phang. But I don't know, I've never heard of any other place in Thailand where the Ampere, the Tambon, and there's actually two villages. There's Thai Mueang and Thai Mueang Beach. Those are Muban 8 and 9. We are the smallest and last Muban, Thai Mueang Beach. But
Mu 9.
Mu 9, yeah, Muban 9, Muban 9.
How do you sort of rank this in American states? You've got like a town and then
if we consider the
provinces
states, okay, there's what, 77? And
in Thailand?
Yeah. Right?
50 in the US?
50 states in the US.
50 states.
So it's called a province here, but you can think of it as a state if you are from America,
but
where I am.
What's the small, between a state and a town?
Then you go Ampere, which would be counties.
I'm talking about in America.
Oh, counties, township.
Township.
Yeah.
And then
state, county, township.
Oh, county.
Yeah.
So, okay, in Australia we call them shires, or it could be that too.
Is that Gandalf coming over the hill?
Or a city, which could not just be the city, but it could be the city of something which encompasses other. Okay, so I'm just trying to relate it.
You know, if you have a city big enough, New York has 5 boroughs, which are neither counties nor townships, or they're a borough. That's it. Which is the same word that comes from Sanskrit Pali. It's a burrow that an animal lives in. Berg, Hamburg, all of that "b" meaning a home comes from India, from the Sanskrit Pali language.
So I was born in Mornington, in the Shire of Mornington, which encompassed other towns, in the state of Victoria, in the Commonwealth of Australia.
In the middle of a solar eclipse, and the dogs howled outside the delivery room.
So here we are in Thai Mueang Beach in Thai Mueang
In the
district.
Tambon of
Thai-
Thai Mueang.
yeah,
Yeah, the county is Ampur, that is Thai Mueang. The township is Tambon, that is Thai Mueang. And the village, the Muban, in our case, is only 2 streets that parallel the beach.
Yes.
Those 2 streets are a political entity. and
I live
Muban-
next to the Orbitor.
You do. You live next to the Obotal. And of course, we have all those government buildings on that road because it's government land. They don't have to pay for the land. But
There's
so
a
we
university.
we have a high school, a university. We have the land office. We have the Obotal, and that may be it.
And my place.
And your place. At any rate, so yeah, I wanted to ask if anybody else out there lives in a village which shares its name with its Tambon and its Ampur, and its Jamwat. If you live in, Pitsanulok village in the Jamwat of Pitsanulok, At any rate, I had never heard of a situation like that before in Thailand, but I don't get out of the house much, except to do this. I don't really leave my house.
I used to live in Katu, in the Katu Tambon or something, in Phuket.
Yeah.
Katu.
The Changwat of Phuket,
There you go.
the second wealthiest province in the kingdom.
And as far as I know, double think, the only one with a checkpoint.
Yes.
Does anybody know
Yeah.
any other province in Thailand that has a checkpoint?
A military-style checkpoint.
It's-
You can't get in or out without going
It's
through.
not like one of those, put up the tent and 3 policemen sitting there going through their
big
Facebook.
deal.
It's like
Yeah.
a
It's like 6
Big
buildings,
buildings.
6 3-story buildings. And there's also a mall there, and there's all kinds of stuff there. But yeah, you come over that Saracen Bridge, baby, and the cops are going to want to look at your face. I've been on the bus. The Phuket Suratani bus is the bus I
sure,
take back and forth. And I've seen them pull people off that bus who I assumed were Burmese without papers. But they do operate like cops at a checkpoint. And I've never heard
I've
of that.
been through
going
there.
from Changwat to Changwat. I've never heard of that.
I've been there hundreds of times through that checkpoint. Tachachai checkpoint. Tachachai. Tachachai.
Wow, look at you.
Tachachai.
Yeah, well, we
one
don't
of those.
know, but yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
And I sort of drive slowly, wanting them to stop me so I could, oh, yes, I do have my passport. Oh, yes, I do have my driving license. But they never stop me.
You look intimidating, man. You
I
look
take
like
my
Rough Road.
glasses off and I lift the visor up and here I am, and they just wave me past.
Yeah.
Next. So
They're afraid of you, dude.
I don't look evil enough.
Yeah. Or too
I say to them, don't you know who I am? And they don't.
You're Steve Ross's friend, aren't you? That guy that appears on Steve Ross's show. What's
Yeah,
your name?
yeah,
I
Steve
forget.
Ross's
Tom
show.
something, isn't it?
Let's,
Tom Newton.
Let's talk about movies.
All right.
Oh, now I've lost my way. Oh, hang on. Where was the thing? Oh, if I go back. Oh, God, what have I done? Oh, I've lost my list. I had my list already. Oh, here it is. Found it.
We need an assistant. Anybody out there looking for an unpaid internship in show business?
Oh, I'm going to have to do it again. The name of the road. Don't do that. Excuse
Everybody
me
take a
for a
break.
moment.
Talk amongst yourselves in the comment section. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk to the duck.
Well, I'll
because
tell
that's
you what.
about
Listen, I can. We're going to talk about movies.
Yes.
I can launch. I don't need to look at my nuts. So I did a play. One of the very few times I've acted in my life. I've always been tech, but because I'm so gorgeous to look at, I have been cast and put on stage. And I played a character named Ben Hecht, who was a Hollywood screenwriter. In a play called Moonlight and Magnolias, which is about the writing of the screenplay for Gone with the Wind. And this is a true story that
On the
has
list.
been dramatized. So David O. Selznick had the rights to Gone with the Wind. He had filmed a week on it, didn't like what was being done, fired the director, threw away the script, hired a new director, Victor Fleming, who had just finished The Wizard of Oz. So Victor Fleming had a very good year in 1939. He directed The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind back to back. amazing, and he slapped Judy Garland on the set of The Wizard of Oz. You could do that back in the day. If you were the director, you could slap a 16-year-old girl in front of 100 witnesses and not go to prison. I digress. So anyway, so he had this property. He'd paid a buttload of money for Gone with the Wind. Everybody in America had read it. It was going to be a huge movie, and his career and the respect of his father-in-law, Louis B. Mayer, depended on producing a hit, and a big hit. It couldn't be a mediocre hit. It had to be a big hit. He got Vivian Leigh, and he got Clark Gable. He was ready to go, but he had no script.
Hattie
McDaniel.
Yes. She did she won an Academy Award, or
I
was
think
nominated?
Oh, what's the story? She won, but she wasn't allowed to come to the ceremony
something
or
like
something
that.
like
Yeah.
But and the whole discussion of can the white lead slap a black child in the middle of this movie, and she does. They decided yes. So these three men, all right, David O. Selznick, biggest producer in Hollywood, Victor Fleming, fresh off The Wizard of Oz, and Ben Hecht, the most famous script doctor in Hollywood. David O. Selznick brings them into his office. He locks the door. For 5 days, those three men, and this is a true story, for 5 days, those three men stayed in that office with bananas, peanuts, water, and methamphetamine. And they produced the script for Gone with the Wind. And Ben Hecht, the guy who was responsible for writing the script, had never read the book. He didn't like, it's a romance. It's Moonlight Magnolias. I don't like that sappy shit. So the other two, David O. Selznick and Victor Fleming, had to act out the entire book in that room over the course of 5 days because Ben Hecht had never read the book and wasn't about to read the book. It's 600 pages, right? So somebody has written a play. We don't know what actually happened in that room full of fresh fruit and amphetamines, but we know that the script of that movie that we know today came out of that experience. Now, if you were to walk into that room and say to David O. Selznick, David, I think there are ethics involved in adapting a book to the screen. I think you owe both the audience and the author a certain amount of attention to the... No, David O. Selznick would say, get the fuck out of my office. Security, get this guy out of here. I paid millions of dollars for this story. Okay. At any rate, so that launches the discussion. That producer in that situation with that book and that movie would have told you to go yourself if you tried to tell him he had any responsibility in that vein.
It was such a successful movie at the time.
Oh, still is.
But it was, no one's ever thought, let's remake Gone with the Wind. But the sensibilities would all have to be changed.
Oh, yes.
Surely.
Yes, it would have to, the scene where Big Sam says, Miss Scarlett, we're going to go dig ditches for the Confederacy. Yeah, you couldn't have that slapping a black teenager. Because I don't know nothing about busting no babies.
Yes.
Bam! Right down the stairs. Yeah, you probably couldn't do that. But you know what they call fans? Because they have conventions. There's a big fan life connected to Gone with the Wind. You know what they call themselves?
Windies.
Yeah. And you know where they're biggest? In Japan. Because the story of a woman in a defeated nation where all the men have died in war and she's got to rebuild the nation, that really resonated after World War II in Japan. Okay. Now at their conventions, they get dressed up, and some people do put on blackface and play, because who's the favorite character? Everybody's favorite character, and that is Mammy. And they do dress up in blackface. Japanese people in Japan dress up in blackface and period costume and go to Gone with the Wind conventions. Or at least this is what I have been told. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section.
Okay, we've only got another 30 books to go, so...
300, easy. Yeah. Hollywood has been cannibalizing the publishing industry for 100 years.
Now, the
Wizard of Oz, 1904. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Go on, I'm sorry. I'm excited. I love to talk about movies.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't get out of the house much.
Does have anybody to talk to in English?
Oh, waiter, the barbiturates, please.
So what has sparked my interest in the topic is that because once you type one thing into the Google machine, you tend to get a lot of prompts for similar things.
Or YouTube or Netflix, yeah.
So because I enjoyed seeing Dune 1 and Dune 2, the latest incarnation of that classic book, they cut the one book into two halves, turned it
Sure.
into 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I bet there's going to be a 3 given the success
Sure.
of these two.
I think the last Hunger Games movie was 3, and Harry Potter was 2. They cut the book into 2 movies. Yeah.
So, but a lot of the discussion about the movie has been how faithful it was to the original book by Frank Herbert. A name, by the way, you dropped. When I was talking to Frank Herbert last time,
Yeah.
last time we were speaking, but once people have bought the rights for a book, or the writers died, what liberties should a director take? Because a book is one thing, I mean, it's a physical object and you sort of go through page after page. A movie is a different sort of experience. So sometimes it's difficult to turn that narrative written in that order into something that sort of works as a cinematic narrative. So obviously there are things in Dune and Dune 2 which they have put in slightly different orders to sort of make it work, or in some cases the director thought, I think this is a better way for that character's sort of journey. And they are literally changing some details in the book. What do you think about this topic, Steve?
Well, like I said, David O. Selznick would tell you, I paid millions of dollars for this property. It's
Sure.
mine now. I can do what I want with it. I can tell you, I just watched the very first. I think Stephen King is fascinating as an author. I have always been fascinated with him. I think Firestarter is one of the best science fiction novels ever written. Shining is a classic suspense novel.
Shawshank Redemption?
Shawshank Redemption. But I just finished watching, it's the tooth.
Dribbling.
It's the tooth. It gets loose sometimes. I just finished watching The Stand. Thank you. I just finished watching The Stand, the TV miniseries from the 1990s. It's available for free on YouTube. And I've seen it 3 or 4 times. I love it.
Stand.
The Stand. It's a post-apocalypse. I mean, kind of a post-apocalypse. Somebody's got me thinking about prepping, and so I started watching I watched Day of the Triffids, Last Man on Earth, The Omega Man, and everything that's available free on YouTube. So The Stand was remade recently, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, in a much, I think, inferior iteration. But the hand of Stephen King, early on there was Castle Rock Entertainment, which was Stephen King's film production company, and only Stephen King's film production company could do his novels. So Cujo, The Stand, what else? Kubrick obviously bought The Shining, but you can see and Stephen King always does a cameo. He always appears in these movies. And they suffer because he's there on set saying, no, in the book it's this way.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff in The Stand, like characters who appear and they are developed and you spend time with them and they just disappear like that. Because they were important in the novel, they're not important in the movie. So once Stephen King stepped back and stopped demanding that he be involved in the production
micromanaging,
then I think you get better product, I think.
Well, Shawshank Redemption was an okay short story, but I thought was made into a terrific film.
Yes.
I can't sort of remember anything that was wildly different, but the
film
worked.
Morgan Freeman. That I think was the first time we encountered Morgan Freeman's voice as a voiceover.
The narration.
And just, you better get busy living or get busy dying. That voice doing the narration is terrific. And Tim Robbins, I think, as the prisoner, as Andy Dupre. He just hands in a beautiful performance in that role. The bad guys are all bad as hell.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's one of those movies, existential movies. It's about the human experience. We're all in a jail of some kind. If you've ever seen The Hindus, and they've got a display of a naked man inside a cage made of bones, that is us imprisoned inside the cell of the 8 bones of the human cranium. 7? Someone's going to correct me. That's what that little display means, that we are all a prisoner inside here, and we're just looking through the windows and listening through the bars. And that, as an existential comment on the human condition, I think that movie is absolutely wonderful. And we all stand up and cheer when Morgan Freeman makes it to Mexico, and there's this wreck of a boat on the sand. It's not tied to anything, it's not at a pier, but he's up there sanding the deck. And Morgan Freeman shows up, and we all stand up and cheer.
Sure.
It's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
It is, yeah. It's a great movie. We'll go through some of the other examples of books turned into movies. I was thinking, with Dune, the words were what drove the original Frank Herbert. And the worlds he painted and stuff were very colourful indeed, and very sort of intertwined. And anybody who thought, oh, I can make a movie about that, was biting off more than they could chew. There's only been a few people try. And the latest iteration, I think, is very, very good. And in this case, there's not many words, but the cinematography tells the story. And somehow the movie makers have been able to tell this amazing tale and bring it onto a screen. I'd love to see it on IMAX. It's one of those things I saw it on...
We don't have one in Turtle Beach.
I saw it on this computer. No, we don't. There's a business opportunity. We could open the first IMAX in Turtle Beach.
Yeah. We did mention in the car coming up here that there's a property in town that has a pool. It's the only swimming pool in Turtle Beach. One. And it's in a derelict, abandoned house.
The Bat House.
Yeah, the Bat House. It's colonized by bats. And it's got the only swimming pool, the only in-ground swimming pool. I've never even seen an above ground. I've never even seen an inflatable kiddie pool on Turtle Beach.
It's the best house in town, inhabited by bats.
Yeah.
I remember when I was looking through it.
The western wall that faces the ocean, it's all glass. 2 stories, all glass. End to end, top to bottom, all glass.
Going to need some chunky air conditioners and some Windex.
Paper towels and Windex. Newspaper is the best thing to clean windows.
Where the hell do you get newspapers anymore?
Yes, well, I have discovered, building turtles out of paper mache, I've discovered it's very difficult.
Very difficult to get newspaper.
Went to his barber and bought the newspapers the barber had in the back room. They were all 3 and 4 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the only barber in town I think that has them. I don't know where I'm going to go next to get newspapers.
They would have been fun to read, by the way.
That's something we have witnessed disappear in our lifetimes. Yeah, newsprint.
Here, you're playing with the lead again. The
this
Hobbit.
Makes me nervous. The Hobbit.
And the Tolkien books.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because 3 of them were great and 1 sucked balls. And again, a book they cut into parts.
Yeah.
And all the parts sucked balls. The Hobbit is terrible.
The problem I had with Lord of the Rings, I read it when I was a callow youth, and when I went to see it, I thought, who was the director? The New Zealand guy. Peter Jackson. And oh wow, what the scenery! South Island in New Zealand. Oh
yeah,
amazing. Some of the prettiest areas in the world.
But orcs live there. Don't visit New Zealand. There's orcs.
It's my relatives you're talking about. When I saw it, the movie started, and I thought, no. It doesn't look anything like in my mind.
That's not Middle Earth.
No, they don't look anything like.
That's New Zealand.
And I fell asleep in all 3 of them.
Oh my God!
I know.
How do we talk? How do we communicate? We're so different.
But I love the books, but I didn't like the movie. Well, it's not that I didn't like them. I just fell asleep.
Well, I love both books and movies. I think Peter Jackson. I'm almost willing to give Peter Jackson a pass on King Kong, and The Hobbit, because he did such a good job on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm almost willing to forgive him for everything else. Not quite.
Did you see the Get Back? I think it was called the Beatles sort of anthology. He did. They got all this old footage, and they put it through some sort of AI type filter thing, and it looked like it was just filmed yesterday. Astonishing visual effort there.
I haven't seen. There's Falang eating down there. Alert the
foreigners?
Media. Yeah, alert the media. There's white people.
Dirty foreigners. Shocking.
Where are they? They must be from like the Natai Beach Resort or Baba Beach Club or something. At any rate, I haven't seen really a new movie in 2 years because we don't have a theater in Thai Mueang, and I don't know how to stream anything for free. I canceled my Netflix because there was never anything to watch. Yeah, you have said that before. But at any rate, no, I haven't seen the Beatles thing. I haven't seen
it was on Netflix,
in the last 2 years.
or maybe Disney.
No,
anyway,
it must have been Disney.
Now, because you like Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure you would enjoy the latest Dune movies.
The Princess Bride.
The Princess
Beautifully
Bride.
done. William Goldman. William Goldman? Which Goldman? A. Goldman wrote the book.
Bob Goldman?
Yeah, something like that. Beautiful book made into a beautiful movie. Rob Reiner knew what he was doing. He cast
Very funny movie.
Andre the Giant, when he says, "I don't even work out," just fall down laugh at every line. "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Over and over and over, the recurring callback. Oh my God, what a movie. So that worked really, really well.
Was it different from the book?
I
think it was.
Yeah, I read the book when I was 11 or 12 or something. I don't think it was terribly different. I know they both set up in the bedroom. The kid is sick and Grandpa comes in to tell him a story. Other than that, I don't remember. But I imagine they stuck pretty close to the book.
One they've tried 3 times. I know you didn't like the first one. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
No.
You didn't like the first one.
Gene Wilder had the same theater degree from the University of Iowa that I hold. His picture was on the wall of the theater.
So you're suggesting you should have been doing?
No, I'm suggesting I like Gene Wilder a lot, but that movie I think failed at every level. I think that Gene Wilder, oh God, I think that's terrible. But it's hard. The books are really, really raw. I mean, he's murdering children, basically. They come back at the end because I think the publisher made Roald Dahl bring them all back alive at the end. I think Roald Dahl...
Do we know what Roald Dahl thought about the movie version?
I'm sure on Wikipedia somebody knows. I don't know. But I think they've tried James and the Giant Peach. They tried that as an animated movie with stop motion puppets, and I don't think that was received very well. But Willy Wonka is a very tough property to try to adapt for the screen, but they keep trying. Probably because Roald Dahl's grandchildren are selling the rights for $10.
And then Johnny Depp sort of turned him into a weird Michael Jackson type character.
You know who he was copying? I'm convinced. I've never seen this. You remember Amélie? The movie Amélie?
Yes.
Sometime do a Google image search for Amélie and Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. They're identical. The makeup, the expressions, and the haircut, they're all identical. That was the look.
I thought the voice was Michael Jackson.
Oh, might have been, yeah. But that was a terrible, terrible effort. That was even...
That version currently streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
Oh,
By the way, we should invite you to give us your books that you think have been turned into really good movies, or ones that were a disaster, or things were so changed that they sort of lost the thread, because that's what we're talking about.
And if you're from Hollywood, I have 5 books on Amazon. You can buy any one of them. You can buy the film rights for any one of them. They're available. I don't even have an agent. I could be taken advantage of as an author. You could get my books dirt cheap, Hollywood. Just throw that in there apropos of nothing at all.
Well, I'm taking a commission if you get a sale.
Yeah, I'll take you out to lunch. I'll bring you here for lunch. That's movie money, baby.
The Godfather. Quickly, we'll bang through a few of these.
Wah, 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 wah. Sorry.
Godfather 2, I thought was better than Godfather 1. Not many sequels are better than the first movie.
Yeah.
Dune 2 is better than Dune 1. Godfather 2, better than Godfather.
A lot of people like The Empire Strikes Back better than A New Hope.
Very good example. Yeah. That was the best of the start. They went downhill after that. Sound of Music 2 was better than Sound of Music 1. The Von Trapp family returned to Austria.
I will say, listen, Mario Puzo, who wrote the novel The Godfather, also wrote a novel called The Dark Arena, which is a fantastic expat novel. It's an American living in Berlin immediately after the Second World War. And he's doing everything that expats do in Padia and Walking Street and Soy Cowboy, but it's in Europe at the end of World War II. But it's an expat novel. It's a pure expat novel.
Percy Jackson movies.
I know nothing, neither read the books, nor those are young adult.
Little Women.
Nothing.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Beautiful book, beautiful movie. Yeah.
Gregory Peck.
Gregory Peck, and the little girl. She never did anything else. I don't remember. But the author never wrote anything else. Come on, Steve. To Kill a Mockingbird by Truman Capote's best friend. Oh, God, come on.
Hey, Siri, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird?
This is the weed. This is 50 years of cannabis right here. I can't remember. Harper Lee, of course. You know, she grew up next door to Truman Capote. They were the only two out gay people in Meridian, Mississippi in the 1940s.
Oh, the parties.
Oh, the parties.
That would have been amazing.
And they fell apart because she was his research assistant on the interviews that became In Cold Blood. And she was supposed to get co-author credit on that book, and the publisher wouldn't allow it. And so she and Truman Capote fell apart after that. But she only really wrote one book in her life, To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's only been made once, and both are spectacular. Sometimes the magic works, man.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, okay. I'm very familiar with that. I think...
I never read a single Harry Potter book, but I listened to 4 of them with Stephen Fry reading it to me,
okay.
which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, I read...
What do you think about audiobooks?
Oh, I love them. I've listened to them for 8 years in the car. I had a 90-minute commute to and from work, 3 hours in the car every weekday, Monday through Friday, for 8 years. 90 minutes in the car. And the audiobooks at the Las Cruces Public Library saved my life. Oh, so many things I never would have read because you're limited to what's there in the library, in Las Cruces in the library, and stuff I never would have read otherwise. Oh, audiobooks. They add the element of performance.
Yes.
You get someone like Stephen Fry, or I listened to the first 4 Game of Thrones novels in the car, narrated.
Read by?
Roy Dotrice is his name.
Oh, okay.
He is in the Guinness Book of World Records as doing the most character voices in any audiobook ever. He does 400 speaking characters in the Game of Thrones books. And to my ear, he's got 3 accents. He's got Cockney, he's got posh lords and ladies, and then he's got like an upcountry Yorkshireman. And to my ear, every single character is one of these 3 voices. But he also, if you know the franchise, he appears in the TV show as the maester who creates the green fire that destroys Stannis Baratheon's fleet in the Battle of the Blackwater. Anyway, that actor, Roy Dotrice, he's an old Vic-trained actor. But yeah, you get an old Vic-trained actor doing 400 characters and you've got acting going on. And it's a beautiful addition. It's a neat way to enjoy books, I think.
Jurassic Park.
Loved the first movie. I have no idea, never read the books. Who's that, Michael Crichton?
Michael Crichton, yeah. I only saw the movies.
Yeah.
And they were just very clever, the way that they created those dinosaurs out of fresh air.
Well, and the first one is a story about parenting, and that's why it connected with everybody.
Right.
This guy who doesn't want commitment, he's got Laura Dern, the most gorgeous woman in Hollywood, is his girlfriend, and he can't commit. He's old enough to be her father, literally, and this woman wants him, and he can't commit. But he gets thrown in with these children, and he's got to keep these 2 children alive amid the dinosaurs. And at the end of the movie, what's the last scene? He's the one awake, and Laura Dern and these 2 kids are leaning on him asleep. He's the father. He has accepted fatherhood and succeeded at it. And that's the story that resonates with huge audiences. All the other Jurassic Park movies are just robots and CGI. But that first one is literary. And Spielberg directed it, so you can't go wrong.
We could go on all day with books that have been turned into movies. Do you have any others that sort of leap out at you? As
Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies.
Oh.
Very, very, I remember that as being almost word for word with the movie. The God allegory, when the boy is about to be killed by his society, his own society, and he's on the beach, he can't run any farther, and he looks up, and here's this adult man dressed all in white with the sun behind him. God has come to bring you salvation, you know, and it's just, oh, what a book, what a movie.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. The book, yeah, I sort of enjoyed them both. My favourite, this is a weird one. And
hey Tim, what's your favourite?
Maybe because I was sort of at that age where it resonated with me, but it was a LP Hartley book, which was our sixth form sort of study book for the year or something. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was called The Go-Between, and it was made into a movie in 1971. I mean, it wasn't a big movie or anything, but the opening line in the movie and in the book, the past is a foreign country. They do things differently there.
Ooh, that's gorgeous. The
Yes.
Go-Between.
The Go-Between.
Holy cow, that's gorgeous. I love that.
It had the music was done by Maurice Jarre, who was the father of the person who wrote the music for Lawrence of Arabia or something. So there was some sort of
Junior
connection.
Jarre.
It was very sort of European in its so there's a Pride and Prejudice, that type of sort of thing. I don't think Americans would understand.
Probably not. We have terrible schools.
Anyway, The Go-Between, great. Well, I loved the book, loved the movie. A book I'd go back to happily and just enjoy. Had a lot of those little quotes in it. But there you go. What is your book turned into a movie, or not many movies turned into books? It does happen from time to time.
Yeah, there's novelizations. My friend Joe has a great story. He got hired to write the novelization of E.T., and then he and Spielberg had a falling out, and somebody else got to write the novelization of E.T.
Because he wants to change things.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
There's a scene, if we've got a moment, there's a scene in the movie where the tree reaches in the bedroom window and grabs the kid.
Oh,
and
yes.
Joe said that's a cinematic moment. It doesn't work on the page. So all you're trying to do is get the kid out of the house so the sister can be sucked into the TV. No, that's not E.T.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. And yeah, I got the movies wrong. He got hired to write Poltergeist. And
You don't have to write about it.
Yeah.
Don't have to comment on that one.
So
right?
at any rate, Spielberg said, "Screw you! No, that's the way it is. I'm going to hire somebody else." And
Did
got
he
somebody
actually
else.
say screw you? Are you sure about
we'd
that?
have to ask Joe. I don't know. I've enjoyed this one, and my eustachian tube has stayed clear for the majority of it. We need to talk about movies more often.
Okay. So look, actually, if there is something that you would like us to talk about, probably nothing we haven't already thought about, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And even if we don't know anything about it, we'll still talk about it with great authority.
Yeah, sure. And then we'll talk about it, and Steve got it wrong next week.
Because this is YouTube, and
Anything goes, baby.
yeah.
Yeah, did you see that guy get his ass kicked in Pattaya? That young black American kid got his ass kicked hard in Pattaya,
Where
man.
did you see that reported?
Oh, I don't know. It's all
It
over.
wasn't reported on my program,
You know-
so it didn't happen.
You know how a lot of vloggers just talk about other vloggers? So this guy's being talked about. He had like a dozen viewers on his live stream, but as fodder for everybody else's YouTube channel, he's getting millions of views because it's all live streamed. Everybody's got the video of him getting his ass whooped. And so, you know, he himself didn't make a dime off it, but everybody else is making, like that doctor. Well, no, he made a lot of money. All right, I need a cigarette. Let's get out of here.
We don't suggest violence in any situation,
Or
by
smoking.
the way.
YouTube.
Or smoking.
No, I did not promote smoking, YouTube. No, I did not.
My hand is getting better. Steve's lungs aren't.
No.
If you would like to watch Steve's videos, you spoke about, what do you call it? When you've got-
Buntongs.
No, when you got a whole lot of women. A harem. You spoke about harems in your vlog this week. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll
Yeah.
go and watch that. It's on the Steve Rosse YouTube channel, and it's got an E on the end of Ross.
ROSSE.
For some reason. And you can subscribe to my channel. I'd be eternally grateful. And we'll see you next week.
Bye. And Tim, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very flattered.
My
and I
pleasure.
enjoy this very much.
I wish I could say the same.
Thank you for watching. Yeah.